Up in the sky.
Is it a bird?
Is it a plane?
No! It's your ever-loving blue-eyed guide through the vast and wondrous world of comics. Follow your host Colin to Pittsburgh Comics as he regales you with options aplenty in Comics Now!
Hey everybody, welcome to Comics Now for September 2025. Well, fall sure feels like it's here. There's a chill in the air. It's my favorite time of year with football and Halloween and all this stuff. It kind of has that feel. It also helps that it's also the anniversary of the store, which is actually coming up on Saturday. I think we're going to celebrate Saturday the 6th. It was actually September 5th, 2006 when we opened. So we've just hit 19 years. I think we're going to make it. So that's exciting to watch. We're going to have a big celebration on the 6th here that weekend. For book club, we're going to be doing Huck, which is a book by Mark Miller. It's basically a story of what if Clark Kent never left Smallville. And he just hung around and did things for people in town and never became Superman. So we're going to be doing that. That's going to be on Friday, September 26th. And then for our monthly theme, this month we're doing Batman. There's a new Batman #1. Batman Day is this month, so it just seemed fitting that we're going to do double points on all Batman graphic novels. So Tim made a big display, so come on by, see all the Batman graphic novels that we have to share. And now to get on, there's a ton of stuff coming this month. So to get on with it, we're going to start with DC Comics. Starting off with DC Comics, we have a new Batman #1. Matt Fraction is writing it. Jorge Jimenez is drawing it. It's a bold new era of Batman starting here. The best superhero in comics gets a brand new first issue to kick off this new era that will test Batman and Bruce Wayne like never before. They didn't give us a whole bunch of subject matter, so we're going to have to read it and find out what's going on. We also have a new Red Hood book. Jason Todd has left Gotham and Batman behind him. All he's taking with him is his costume, his bike, and a metal briefcase containing 2 handguns and lots of bullets. New Angelique seems like the perfect place for Red Hood to put down roots. There's crime, vice, and corruption everywhere. When Jason discovers a superpowered serial killer who is targeting the city's police, he finds himself sucked into a terrible and bleak conspiracy with seemingly no end in sight. But Jason isn't the only person on the scene. Following his trail is Helena Bertinelli, aka Huntress. Is she here to stop him or help him? What will happen when the 2 black sheep of the Bat family start working together? We also have Superman 30. This is continuing the big all-in storyline. Superman has found the mysterious hero known as Booster Gold. Together they must return to the present day to warn the Justice League, but Darkseid's Legion stands in the way. We also have Adventures of Superman, Book of L. Philip Kennedy Johnson is writing it with Scott Godlewski drawing it. As the super family settles into a well-earned time of peace, a powerful ally turned enemy invades Earth with an army at his back and a god aspect of Olgrun, mad god of the first world. When even the super family lacks the power to stop him, Superman is sent against his will to a place even he's never been, where he'll find allies he could never have expected. This is concluding the events of Future State and Johnson's Action Comics run. So the next epic adventure begins here. We also have Detective Comics 1101 starting a new story arc. Criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot. Batman has long depended on this mantra to uphold justice in Gotham City. But what if Gotham was a city devoid of fear? Would this lead to a city free of inhibitions or a populace driven suicidal by an inability to process mortal terror? To answer this question, the Dark Knight will embark on a harrowing adventure that must be seen to believed. We also have Batman Second Night. This is a big black label, oversized book, a sequel to First Night, by Dan Jurgens and Mike Perkins. The year is 1940. Most of the Western world is embroiled in a war against a fascist regime whose march against Europe shows no sign of defeat. With the specter of global war looming, it's time for fear and paranoia for those living in Gotham. It's only been a few months since the city was rescued from undead monsters by the masked vigilante known as the Batman. But a vicious killer has been on a murder spree that's taking the city to its breaking point. Bodies are turning up in theatrically gruesome ways, all staged with the killer's calling card, a hangman's noose. While the Batman endeavors to solve this spate of murders, a young reporter from the Daily Star named Lois Lane arrives in Gotham. Meant to cover a movie premiere, it doesn't take long for Lane to find herself caught in the grips of a new villain in Gotham, one whose mastery of fear will plunge the city into chaos. We also have their holiday special, is DC's Satanic Panic. And we have a new one called Court, Children of the Round Table. This is written by Tom Taylor. It's more of a kid's book. For centuries, an elite force known as the Camelot Corps has protected ancient secrets, waiting for the day when these myths are needed by the world. That day is today. Young Fell, Connor, and their friends are stunned when they're almost crushed by a giant stone falling from the sky. Their lives are changed forever when they find a sword stuck fast in the stone. These children of destiny will soon face a great evil, but they won't do so alone, for these friends have been chosen to wield ancient magical weapons, great weapons bonded to knights of legend. With the evil Mordred's power growing, the fate of the world rests in the hands of the Children of the Round Table. Then we also have some facsimile editions this month. We have the original Batman #1. We have Batman 635. This is his first appearance. Jason Todd is Red Hood. And New Fun Comics #1, which is DC's first ever comic book. Now for what's coming from Marvel Comics. Okay, first up from Marvel Comics is the book we've been waiting almost 30 years for. When they did the big amalgam omnibus, Marvel and DC had so much fun working together, they said, we should do more. So they're doing a Deadpool Batman crossover. Marvel is doing theirs first, and then DC is following up with theirs. So we're going to start with the Marvel version. Deadpool Batman, main story written by Zeb Wells and Greg Capullo. We also have a Daredevil Green Arrow story by Kevin Smith and Adam Kubert. A Captain America Wonder Woman story by Chip Zdarsky and Terry Dodson. A Jeff the Land Shark and Crypto story by Kelly Thompson and Guru Hiro. Wade Wilson has been hired for a job in Gotham City, but will the world's greatest detective help him or destroy him? So this looks to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of hype around it. Then we're getting into, they're doing the Age of Revelation along through all the X books, which is coming, I believe, sometime this month, maybe into October. But they're setting it up by returning us back to the old Age of Apocalypse that happened back in the 90s. So here's the recap of that. We have X-Men of Apocalypse Alpha. This is written by Jeff Loeb, drawn by Simone DeMeo. A dystopian future created when Charles Xavier was killed, Age of Apocalypse is home to a war-torn group of X-Men led by Magneto. In order to free their Earth from Apocalypse's cruel reign, they were willing to sacrifice their very existence, or so they thought. The main timeline was restored. Apocalypse was defeated, but their world lived on. Taking place in the direct aftermath of the original crossover's explosive finale, X-Men of Apocalypse reignites the mission of this iconic reality's X-Men as they journey here to ensure their universe's survival. This desperate mission will take them into the main Marvel universe where they will come into conflict with their classic counterparts, forever impacting both teams' destinies. Then another interesting one, Spider-Man 94. The original comic or cartoon that was in the 90s ended on a cliffhanger, and they never finished it. They never followed up. So now they're finishing it in comic book form. This is written by J.M. DeMatteis. The hit 90s animated series returns. After searching to the ends of the multiverse, Peter Parker, the amazing, the spectacular, the radioactive webhead himself, aka Spider-Man, swings back into the streets of New York City with his beloved Mary Jane Watson in tow. But what's this? One of the villains is not like the others. Witness this universe's debut of not one but two of Spider-Man's greatest villains from the comics. We also have Battle World #1. The Battle World from Secret Wars returns. Slay your enemies, prove your worth, and all you desire shall be yours in the world to come. Heroes from across the multiverse are thrown together on a patchwork world to engage in their own secret wars for the survival of their timelines. Who or what has created this battle world, and for what nefarious purpose? Enter Maestro. Is he friend or foe? We also have a new Marvel Zombie series, but this one's Red Band, which means it's going to be bagged and really extra gory. So, it was the most important space flight in the history of the Marvel Universe. 4 intrepid heroes took off into the unknown and returned changed, gifted with great abilities and hungering for human flesh. Travel back to the birth of a Marvel Universe parallel to our own, but chock full of horror since its very inception. Which heroes will rise to become the champions we know and love? Which will be torn limb from limb? And which will devour the scraps? Find out in this blood-soaked series. We also have a new Punisher book. It's a red band as well. This is written by Benjamin Percy. Frank is back with no memories, a full clip, and a thirst for wrathful vengeance. His violent search for answers could only be chronicled in a red band series. Bullets will fly, blood will flow, and the citizens and criminals of New York City alike will fear the name The Punisher. Tying into Imperial, we have Imperial War Exiles. A coup at home has imperiled Shi'ar Magistrix Xandra, tearing her from the throne. Her only hope for survival lies in a mismatched group of renegades led by her father, Professor Charles Xavier, and her resurrected mother, Lilandra. But when faced with the awesome power of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, the only way to survive is to run. We also have Imperial War Nova Centurion. The Xandarian world mine will be lost forever unless Rich Rider can earn the credits needed to keep it alive. So Nova must offer his services to the highest bidder. Have helmet, will travel. Doctor Strange reaches 450. As turmoil seizes Asgard, Doctor Strange's life is about to change forever. But as he stands on the threshold of a true journey into mystery, it turns out the past isn't quite done with him yet. Fan favorite creators reveal untold tales of Stephen Strange's past, while current writer Derek Landy reveals a glimpse of the future to come. We also have the undead Iron Fist. The Iron Fist rises. The Book of Iron Fist declares that every Iron Fist will die by the age of 33. But who created this false prophecy? Danny Rand was killed, but can you truly kill an immortal Iron Fist? Learn the truth about the legacy of Iron Fist as Danny Rand rises once more to snuff out those that threaten the legacy before Danny's time runs out. We also have Ultimate Hawkeye. This is by Dennis Camp. Spinning out of the Ultimates, breakout hit character Hawkeye goes on a covert solo op that will have a massive impact on the future of the Ultimate Universe. We also have One World Under Doom is continuing. Number 7's out this month. Fallout continues from what was revealed last month, and Doom finds his grip on power loosening. But he's not going to give it up without a fight on several fronts. Doom once sought glory, but that glory is now dead. All that is left is power and control as rebellions in several countries are quickly and brutally put down. As Doom prepares to make his final stand and a world's army stands against him, only a few can see the truth. It's not enough. Emperor Doom is going to win. And One World Under Doom continues in Fantastic Four number 3, Runaways 4, Superior Avengers 6, and Red Hulk 8. Amazing Spider-Man 11. This is the big one, the one you've been waiting for. Spidey Goes Cosmic. A tale of two Spider-Men. One Spider-Man swings around New York City, meting out justice in an unfriendly manner. Another Spider-Man is found in a distant solar system running with strange companions. Some facsimile editions from Marvel this month are Fantastic Four 9, X-Men 139, and Civil War 2. 2 new Star Wars books this month as well. We have Star Wars Boba Fett, Black, White, and Red. Boba Fett finds himself trapped in a situation he seemingly can't get out of. The Empire and an extreme rebel faction are after the same bounty. Fett needs to track down a deadly individual who has played both sides, and to make things even more impossible, his target is hiding out in a volatile volcanic system. And then we have Star Wars Han Solo Hunt for the Falcon. Less than satisfied with a settled life, Han Solo lands on the idea of reclaiming the Falcon and returning to a life of adventure. The problem is he can't find it. After enlisting a less than enthusiastic Chewbacca, the duo embarks on a quest to reclaim the greatest ship in the galaxy. Standing in their way are a laundry list of rogues who have staked a claim to the Millennium Falcon as well, like the villainous scoundrel who stole the Falcon, Duquesne. Now on to what's coming from Image Comics. First up from Image is Skinbreaker. This is a new one from Robert Kirkman and David Finch. A visionary action epic unlike anything you've seen before. Enor has led his tribe for many seasons, but his time as chieftain is coming to an end. He wields the mighty Skinbreaker, but at his age he can barely lift it. Will Enor's reluctant heir Enoch take over before their world falls to ruin? as a bloody power struggle begins, an even bigger threat lurks in the darkness beyond their village. We also have Artificial, a new one from Maria Lovett. Clara, a fashion stylist disillusioned with love, turns to a futuristic dating service that offers lifelike android partners. But when her dream lover glitches into a possessive stalker, she finds herself trapped in a game of desire, control, and survival. We also have Everything Dead and Dying. Jack Chandler is the sole survivor of the zombie apocalypse in his rural farming community, but rather than eliminate them, he has chosen to continue living alongside the undead, including the husband and adopted daughter he fought so hard to have. But when his town is discovered by outsiders, Jack suddenly becomes the one thing standing in the way of those who hope to kill his family for good. We also have Good as Dead. This is by David Lapham. The Emissary Bridge has always connected the citizens of Port Linden to hope and opportunity. But when one man shockingly sets himself on fire, the bridge now brings something else to the town, certain death. We have No Man's Land. This is by Simon Kudransky. In 1963, when a body is discovered on the icy no man's land between the USA and Russia, known as the Ice Curtain, the already fragile relationship between the superpowers threatens to collapse. With nuclear tensions rising, an FBI agent and a KGB operative must solve the murder before the ice melts and war ignites. There's a Viking Moon. This one's by Joe Pruitt and Marcelo Frusen. In 1003, Leif Erikson established a Viking settlement in Vineland, a strange new world of plenty, but populated by an indigenous people and something else, something unnatural. 20 years after the original expedition ended in disaster, a new attempt to settle this wilderness is made. Ulf and his hardened tribe of Vikings soon discover that the whisper of creatures who are both human and beast are not primitive legend, but death-bringing reality. We have Closer is a one-shot by Kieran Gillen and Steve Lieber. It starts with birds materializing. It'll end with the death of the heavens. Cosmic horror you can dance to in a one-off apocalypse romance. We have the Department of Truth Zero. It's a 5th anniversary special. A new day has dawned at the Department of Truth. Lee Harvey Oswald and his ruthless new recruits are ready to do whatever it takes to make the agency great again. And we have a backup story by Scott Snyder and Joshua Hickson telling the secret history of Elvis in a 3-part backup story. We also have a Gray Lady one-shot. A year after a tragic accident on a snowy road, Samantha Ellis is still haunted by the loss of her son, Ben. Grief has unraveled her life, but when a mysterious psychic warns her that Ben is in danger, Sam's desperation transforms into fierce determination. A supernatural thriller that explores the unbreakable bond between mother and child, where hope, grief, and terror collide. Now on to what's coming from IDW. Okay, IDW has a bunch of stuff. Starting off, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have a Casey Jones new series coming. Street Sharks is coming up. The first Street Sharks comic in more than 20 years brings you extreme stories and a fantastic time. Star Trek has a new one, The Last Starship. The Federation has fallen. Hope is fading. One last starship remains to fight for the future, unless a resurrected James T. Kirk dooms it first. For 7 centuries, the United Federation of Planets brought together the entire galaxy with peace, stability, enlightenment, and the promise of mutual protection. And then, in one terrible moment, it all crumbled in an event known as the Burn, a galaxy-wide disaster in which dilithium has gone inert, causing the detonation of every active warp core. The only ship remaining is a hack-and-slash Enterprise Omega and its ragtag crew. Facing a true Wild West in space, the crew will need to make use of what few resources they have to uphold Starfleet's mission of unity across the universe. And Captain Kirk will have to face a future without the Federation he loves so dearly. We also have Starship Godzilla. You didn't think kaiju were only on Earth, did you? In the fight for galactic supremacy, no weapon is more powerful than a kaiju, and no team is better equipped to capture the transport these titanic monsters than the crew of Starship Godzilla. This ragtag group flies through space in Mechagodzilla and takes high-risk, high-reward missions across the galaxy. A kaiju heading towards your planet? Give them a call. A colossal space pest clogging up your trade route? They'll get rid of it. A galactic civil war utilizing kaiju on both sides? They'll do their best to stay out of it. But where there's a galactic war, there's a galactic conspiracy, and this may be one fight our crew doesn't land on the same side of. We also have a new Twilight Zone book. Return to the Twilight Zone in this all-new anthology series featuring stories by some of the best creators in comics today. Each issue is a new tale in the vein of iconic original television series that's captivated audiences for over 60 years. And like the show, these stories will be revealed in terrifying black and white. IDW's putting out the Valiant books now, so we have Valiant Beyond, All New Harbinger. Meet the all-new Harbinger. After devastating fallout from the Harbinger Wars, humans and Psiots are able to live together without conflict, but that doesn't mean things are safe. Enter Harbinger, a super team composed of uniquely powerful Psiots, including Archer, Flamingo, Alloy, and Crane, dedicated to protecting their city at any cost. When the terrorist Black Sheep takes a building hostage, it's up to Harbinger to step up and stop her. But are they up to the test after having recently lost one of their own? And then we also have a new Exo Man of War book. The mighty Eric of Dacia, aka Exo Man of War, traverses a deadly wasteland filled with mutated horrors in a search for honor. Eric's strength and resilience are put to the test when he comes to the defense of a family under siege from a mysterious gang known as the Earthborn. Eric finds himself aligned with a rebel group, which puts him firmly in the crosshairs of the Earthborn's leader, Typhon. And now on for the rest of the books. Okay, first off, we have Ahoy Comics is giving us Toxic Crusaders. In the aftermath of the chemical spill that created Toxie, other mutations arose, all gross, all weird, and some evil. Join in the rebirth of the greatest and grossest animated series sensation of all time. Archie Comics is giving us a new Sabrina the Teenage Witch one-shot, Magic Unleashed. Sabrina's greatest foe, the evil witch Mother Striga, is back, and this time she's enlisted the aid of the wicked scientist Mad Doc Doom and his daughter Medusa. Will the powers of science be too much for Sabrina's magic, and who can she turn to for help? They're also giving us a Betty and Veronica 75 facsimile edition. Bad Idea is still back, a new one called Survive. This is by Robert Venditti and Doug Braithwaite. The Russian Akula-class submarine orders were simple. Escort the cargo ship Turgenev across the Atlantic and safely deliver her to Cuba's shores. But someone aboard has a competing mission, sabotage. Now a fiery explosion has punched through the titanium hull, turning the once prized vessel of the Russian fleet into a watery tomb. 100 feet down and sinking fast, 2 lone survivors remain, a Russian sailor and an American spy. The final combatants in a war zone only 400 feet long and 40 feet wide. Locked in a heated battle and buried under the weight of an entire ocean, each man is determined to kill the other before time runs out. Mad Cave is back. We have a couple more licensed stuff, which is going to be fun. The Phantom returns. When a violent gang of smugglers stumbles on an idyllic Bandar village, the peace that the Phantom has brought to the African nation of Bangala will suddenly shatter. It will take all of Phantom's many skills and allies to restore it. We also have Racer X #1. This is written by Mark Russell. Before he was Racer X, he was Rex. Rex Racer was a rising star until the racing world chewed him up and left him for dead. Now masked, scarred, and driving for revenge, he's back on the circuit with one goal: protect his brother, take down the syndicate, and outrun his past. One called Flow. When blood began to run down Dara Lund's legs at nature camp, she thought she was dying. Homeschooled by a protective dad after her mom's mysterious death, Dara wasn't told the facts of life. It's the curse, her bunkmates said, not revealing that it was her period. But we can lift it for you if you do everything we say. So began their work of torment, making naive Dara do tortuous tasks for their amusement. But now, 10 years later, as they embark on their careers, the 3 tormentors find themselves cursed. So they reunite to track down the likely source, a vengeful Dara, and they'll pursue her to the bloody end. We also have It Killed Everyone But Me. In the summer of 1996, Sutton Reed had it all: a popular teenage girl with amazing friends, a loving family, and a bright future. But it all came crashing down over one mysterious weekend that saw her friends brutally murdered and left Sutton as the sole survivor of the legendary Riverton Massacre. Now, 3 decades later, the death and disappearance of 2 local teens strike the Riverton community again, forcing Sutton, now a divorced single mother, to face the truth she tried so desperately to hide. Because to catch one killer, she'll have to dig up the real monster she buried away all those years ago. Oni Press is bringing back Skin Police for Volume 2. When you're a cop in the year 2142, you can't afford to trust anyone, not your partner, not your spouse, not even yourself. Titan has a new Conan comic, Conan the Barbarian, Scourge of the Serpent. Conan of Cimmeria has encountered Stygian sorcery and snake-scent creatures many times in his grand adventures, but he has never faced the true unspeakable power of Set until now. And then finally, we have a new one from Distillery, White House Robot Romance. It's by Chip Zdarsky and Rachel Stott. A story of two robots who defy their programming by going on the run to protect their newfound love. Service 1 and Chef 9 dutifully perform their assigned functions at the White House. Their roles bring them into daily contact, but familiarity means little to robotic programming until Chef 9 learns that Service 1 is set to be decommissioned. Chef 9 starts to wonder if their feelings could be something more. This awakening couldn't come at a worse time as the White House is preparing for conflict with their neighbors to the north. As rumors of violence from Canada begin to threaten the president's invasion plans, the biggest threat might be closer than they realized: a rogue robot with a head full of state secrets. So those are a lot of the new books that are coming out, and as always, your regular books are continuing on. You can join us on September 26th, where we're going to have book club talking about Huck. And come in. We have Batman Day coming up. I forgot to look up the date. And new Batman #1 coming out the first week of the month. And we're going to do a promotion on double points on all Batman graphic novels all month long. So that's what we have for you this month. The website's PittsburghComics.com. Facebook is Pittsburgh Comics. Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky are all PGH Comics. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.